in to the series before we got this, but these guys aren't waiting around. They're like, mirrors can feel a bit frustrating. Let's get out of the way, and let's get that frustration out of the way. Does the spawn look good? Does it look fair?
The first thing we'll have to check is whether the colors are correct, because it's a little difficult to tell when you have two Mongol players out there, so hang on with us for a brief moment until Core figures out everything. And that is Vamo1 in the blue color, and look at that, we've talked about the sheep spawn and gathering them. How about that start for Vam?
Yep, he adjusts. He's not going to fall for it. And also, look, they've both done the same thing. They've shifted out, but damn, wham, look at that value. He doesn't get the gold right next, but is close by. And I'm question marking how far away Mista's Ooh is. If he's ever on the defensive, he's going to lose that. And 150 wood plus 25 food and gold going the way of the other person in a mirror matchup is a big lead in the early moments of the game.
Gold is a little closer to the town center here for Mista, but his Ovu is much more exposed. And this is once again coming back to the discussion that we have had numerous times before. Which do you value more? It depends on your strategy. You might value the stone more than you value the gold. Mista is going to have the gold closer to his TC. Vam is going to have the stone relatively secure. But one notable difference that we talked about here, and this is probably our first and most significant talking point at the beginning of this game, is the amount of sheep available. Because Mista, unlike the sets he has played in the previous rounds and the weeklies, he has way less sheep to work with. Vam also really efficient with the scouting. In fact, more efficient than Mista is.
He's doing the Mista right now. He's running across this side. He's like, okay, are there any sheep back here? Did you pick them up already? Fine, if so, I'll just wrap around again and come down my side. And look at that. He gets the critical info. He knows about the forward spawning Uvu. This is going to be very, very awkward, actually, to open up. Mista, look, he did try for that snatch we talked about. And info already given over. Mista, what?
Ooh, cancel barracks.
He can't hang it. Yeah.
No, he could have completed the building. You see, he's even switching it up to Gur. He could have builded back at home as well and then move out. The key thing here is that he saw that his opponent saw it. And the moment you know that there's a barracks being built here by Mista, Vam knows there's a tower rush coming. So Mista just had to completely replan everything.
So what you're saying is if he knows that you know that he knows, then you know that you can't do what you do if he didn't know.
Yes.
That's the observation, Lidakor. It's a fair point, actually. Like, the Uvu being so far out, we highlight as a potential issue. Now that it's spotted, like, you have to adjust your whole game plan. And the awkward part is, like, what's the backup game plan? Mista might be thinking about his
He has a girl on the fish.
Build.
That's what he has.
Yo.
He has built a girl on the fish.
I'm game
That's
for
Mista's game plan.
Lidakor. Tap it into my
Let's
vein.
go. Whew. I love this. I have been a big enthusiast of Mongol shore fishing on Danube River. When in the very few occasions I play the game, I love this thing. If you have the freedom to do that, Mongols being able to take shore fish at the Gur is actually very efficient. If you think about that, you never have to replace your drop-off building. It's a bigger investment initially, but this guy can move with you the whole time. You can pack it up, move to a different pond, and you can also, to a certain extent, conceal that you are doing this if your opponent isn't spotting your operations directly.
And you can go for outposts as well. You can extend that yam when you get wheelbarrow as well. Okay, it's missed. He's not getting wait, he's getting wheelbarrow. He's done it, folks. There we go. Game one, it was missing, but he's going to fix it this time around. So wheelbarrow plus an outpost out here, given the yam, the speed on these villages makes them so much more efficient because we have to remember that fish, it's not a hunted meat. You don't get the vast 25 carry capacity. You get the measly 10 by default, up to 14 with a wheelbarrow.
Exactly. Like, wheelbarrow is the single most impactful upgrade when it comes to shore fishing. It is way more impactful than it is in the case of farming or hunting or berry villagers. When you're fishing, you must have wheelbarrow here, and Mista knows that too.
He has a voluptuous amount of meat to work with. Like, how was that, 12, 14? Like, he has a lot of sheep to come back, actually. I think Mista might have got the vast majority.
Ooh,
here.
look at... Did he yoink it? Wait a second. I think he stole it. There's no way. Let's take a look at Vam's base. I'm curious. Where is Vam's sheep at? He yoinked it. He yoinked everything.
No way.
Whoa, Mista, the sheep master.
You absolute god. Now this, I want to point out, this guy usually works with like, you know, agriculture, but clearly I think he may have owned a sheep farm in his past because he knows the special words to bring them out, bring them to him. I don't know. It's not possible, right? Because you can't unless Wham left the sheep away.
He might have had. He dropped off his initial sheep with his con and he wanted to get out to the field to pick up more very fast. Maybe he didn't rally them very close to the town center or something like that happened.
Has to be. Yeah.
They were on the front.
I don't think yeah, because you can't die. Like the TC has like a locked distance really close to it, right? Where you can't actually snatch them away with scouts. As far as I've never seen it before.
So do keep in mind that if you right-click the town center, they will not camp right next to it. They will have a distance in between them. But it's also possible you don't click the TC. You click right next to the TC, which essentially means that the sheep will still be possessed by you, but they lose allegiance. So for example, if you're in a team game, you want to give sheep to your teammate, you cannot click their town center to give it to them. You will maintain control over it. What you have to do is click right next to the town center because that means that your sheep loses allegiance and will be taken by your teammate. Something like this may have happened here.
It would be quite ironic after what Wham done to the Muslim yesterday for him to find himself now being a no sheep boy, but he won't let it phase him. He's going aggressive, stacking up the horsemen and blocking out the Uvu. Wait, there they are. I knew they were hiding somewhere. But this does leave a question mark. Was it just optimal from Mista, or was there a scout here early on from Wham that got sniped? Because I think he didn't build a second scout, which is why Mista got such good gains.
Yeah, it's still suspicious that Mista was able to head back with that many sheep. You get the feeling that he at least yoinked some. Remember, Wham had way more starting sheep, so it's possible that some of those were indeed yoinked, but I guess we'll never know.
Now, part of me is wondering if Wham had them on that side intentionally to make it look like he's a zero sheep boy as well. That's an interesting strategy.
True.
Nah, you'd notice, right? You have to. Because you see the bodies, right? Like, I hope he'd notice.
He has to notice it, come on. Uvu being burned down, by the way, and we haven't had the chance to talk about this just yet. Mista, he's got a reasonable amount of sheep to work with, he's got the shorefish as well, but he's yet to respond to this tower rush.
Because he can't right now. Like, he could try to build Rax units, but there's an outpost already up. So he has to accept that Uvu's always going down. And it's unfortunate for him as well, because that's now a 200 resource differential. He can't allow the second outpost to start crawling in, because then with Yam, you can start stabbing in onto all the villages, and oh my, oh my. Wow. Wait, are we doing this? This is super prolonged feudal aggression. And the remarkable part is behind this, look at Wham's resources. He's actually saving up enough that Castle also seems like a relative possibility here.
Yeah, this is what I call a passive-aggressive build here. You're putting up pressure and your opponent might not even notice that behind this, you're banking up resources for Castle Age. You show aggression towards the opponent, but it's not like this aggression is really a big investment for Wham. We're talking about 4 archers, a handful of horsemen, and some towers, right? So Wham has the chance to bank up resources behind this.
A lot of towers, because I think he's trying to wiggle his way close enough that maybe he can snipe the eco lines. And it's going to be a strong, like, condensed funnel point for him that he can flood into. And as it stands, like, Mista looks like he should be able to reach Castle a little bit quicker. But keep in mind that in the meantime, Wham has got aggressive forces to use.
And towers as well on the front, and getting rid of those towers is going to be difficult. Like, Mista will need essentially traction trebuchets, or he needs to commit under those towers at one point. Most of those towers do have arrow slits on them, but as Wham is getting closer and closer to Castle Age, those arrow slits, I mean, the new towers will have springboards on them instead of arrow slits, and it's gonna be very difficult for Mista to dive under these, and Mista could find himself cornered inside his base in the next few minutes.
And I feel like Wham slowed himself down a little bit with this extra outpost. I don't think it's even reaching the goal line. Archer's now reaching in with the villagers, though. And I do love that Mista done this. Like, it's not just for the defense with the outpost, it's that Yam. That Yam is allowing him to be efficient, but turns out you can't be very efficient if your villagers are dead.
Yeah, that's a great assessment. I mean, if that villager gathers 0 resources per second, it's a pretty easy math.
Wait, did he lose? So he had 5 here. Look at the eco difference. He lost the others at some point as well. So that's actually like 5 villagers sniped out here. Mista with very limited food now. He has got the sheep, but that's nowhere near as efficient as the fishies he was on. Fishing that Wham is now actually participating in.
It's the timing of this one, right? Mista had the fishing initially, so he had a great source of food, but now he's denied, and when it really matters now, Ram is going to be on
What?
fishing, and you see, Mist is trying to find a stone outcropping where he can place an Ovu to, but...
wait.
Oh, lady?
Yo, break's over. Nothing to see here. Get back to what?
This is like a disco party. It's like disco, party.
So what this is like she's there. She's been told you can't swim. You're not allowed to swim. It's in the rules of the game. She's like, watch me try.
She's still doing it.
You're not swimming. That's not swimming. No, that doesn't count, Lidakor. That's not swimming. All right, that's just disobedience.
She's washing her feet.
I don't think he's ever gonna realize either.
Why would you ever realize it? I'm
That's why
sure.
I hate is like that. It doesn't show us idle eco either. Like that's the worst part. You can't just go, oh look, I've got sleepy villages. No, you don't know.
She's gonna be fixed at one point where the shorefish runs out of food because the other villagers will move away, so she's gonna be set free. Until then, she's going to be in an eternal state of, well, what is that? Stasis?
Maybe she's a mermaid. She needs to stay in the water, otherwise she dies. That's the best answer I've got. It's either that or we just admit very buggy game.
I feel like the latter also has some level of possibility.
Wait, what? The ladder?
Yeah.
She doesn't have a ladder.
Oh, that's a terrible dad joke. Oh,
He
well,
called GG. He's done.
that was fast.
Mister's out. Mister heard your joke and he said, no, I'm getting out of this. I've had enough of this. No more of this Mongol crap. Get me off the map. And just like that, well, the story's starting to repeat. Wham! 2 points in a row. Could this end up going up to 3? Could we just be regurgitating the last European NA showdown? We'll have to find out. But so far, it is following the script.
This was a clean game from Wham and a weird game from both sides, because it's not like we were talking about any major engagements. In fact, I don't think Mista had a single military unit. Let's take a look at that military graph for a second. I'm genuinely curious what Mista's army looked like, because I don't think Mista had a single unit that is combat valuable in this entire game. Yeah, would you look at that? That's like, it shows 6. What did he have? Did
So
he
he
have some
built
spears?
spearmen. He literally built a few spearmen and that's it. Like, remember, he cancelled his racks as well. It was an interesting choice, actually, for him to cancel racks. I feel like he could have combated against Wham in those early phases, just simply because you'd be the defender. And we've seen how that works, right? Like, one player builds X amount of spearmen. The other one has to build at least that many, if not more. And the advantage goes to the person who's on the defensive. Usually, where it becomes a conundrum is when there's like a mid-map resource. Mongolian Heights comes to mind because, oh, you need to control mid because there's docks, so you can't just like be the defender at all times. But in this situation, like I think Mista like had a good starting point. The goal was just too much of a frustration for him, I think. Like there wasn't much room to work with, and you could see that he was very quickly finding himself pinned against the edge of the map.